Hello students, today we are going to start chapter 2 of your book Hornbill. We are not afraid to die if we can all be together. Author Gordon Cook and Alan East. Now, from the title itself only, it suggests that it is an adventurous ordeal at sea, that it is a sea journey. It is an account of the narrator's courage and determination to face difficulties. The lesson is a heart-rending story of how the family of the narrator, his wife Mary, his wife Jonathan, age 6, daughter Suzanne, age 7, has a close encounter with death during their voyage. Heart-rending means sad story. After crossing Cape Town, their boat, Wave Walker, name of the boat is Wave Walker, was caught in rough seas and was badly damaged by a huge wave. The family was badly injured, still they kept their strength in their togetherness. So, the lesson is all about courage and bravery. If one keep calm in the time of adversities, maintain faith and be optimistic, then God will also stand by the side of such brave and courageous people. So, the lesson teaches us all about courage and bravery. And if one keep calm in the time of adversities, have faith, be optimistic, then God will also stand by the side of such brave and courageous people, that God will also help them. The main characters in the story, first of all, narrator, captain of the ship, Mary, wife of the narrator, Jonathan and Suzanne, daughter and son, Jonathan 6 years, Suzanne 7 years, Larry Vigil, he is an American crewman, and Herb Ciesler, he is a Swiss crewman. So the chapter begins from we have to remember the events also and the dates also here. So first here date is July 1976. Wife Mary, son Jonathan, daughter Suzanne 7 and I set for sail from Plymouth, England to duplicate the round the world voyage made 200 years earlier by Captain James Cook. So they all started one journey which has been started by Captain James Cook 200 years ago. Duplicate means again he started the journey which Captain James Cook has started. For the longest time, Mary and I, a 37-year-old businessman. In the narrator, he is a 37-year-old businessman, but he loved thrill and excitement and adventure. So he and his wife dreamt of sailing in the wake of famous explorer. Who is that famous explorer? Captain James Cook. And he has done voyage how many years ago? 200 years ago. And for the past 16 years, we had spent all our leisure time. Now this is to be taken care that after that explorer, they know that it is very risky journey, but still they excel themselves for the 16 years. And we have spent all our leisure time, we have spent all our free time honing our seafaring skills in British waters. Honing our seafaring skills means improving or sharpening the skills required to travel by sea. Honing means to improve or sharpen. Okay, to clear, to improve your skills. Seafaring means the skills which is required to travel in the sea. Our boat Wave Walker. Now this is the explanation. Next 2-3 lines are the explanation of the boat Wave Walker. Name of the boat was Wave Walker. It is 23-meter, 30-ton wooden hulled beauty, had been professionally built, and we had spent months fitting it, testing it in the roughest weather we could find. So he says that it is professionally built, 23-meter, 30-ton wooden hulled beauty, had been professionally built, and we had spent months fitting it out and testing it in the roughest weather we could find, because they know further when they will move they have to face and encounter the rough weather. Wooden hull means a watertight body of a ship. The first leg of our planned 3-year. Now he says the second part is telling us about the first leg of journey. It ran and moved very smoothly. He said the first leg of our journey, it was very smooth, and we passed this journey passed pleasantly, and we sailed down the west coast of Africa to Cape Town. This much kilometers they have run across, and it was very fine. It was very smooth. Therefore, before heading east, we took on two crewmen. Narrator knew that now he will require more help, because till now, though he and his wife were managing everything, now they require more help. So they hired two people, American Larry Vigil and Swiss Herb Sizzler, to help us tackle one of the world's roughest sea, that is Southern Indian Ocean. So he says we have to tackle the roughest sea, that is the Southern Indian Ocean. Then uh, moving to the next part, on our second day out of Cape Town, we began to encounter strong gales. So first day went, they met two people, and then second day of their journey started Cape Town, and we began to encounter strong gales. Gales are the very strong wind. As they started their journey, first of all, they met strong uh, wind. For the next few weeks, they blew continuously. Next 2 weeks, winds were moving like this only. Gales did not worry me. He said these strong winds were not worrying me. Worry was the size of the wave. Winds were not worrying, but the size of the wave was alarming. Up to 15 meters, as high as our main mast. He says the size of the wave was alarming one, risk dangerous one, and it was as high as our main mast. Now, what do you mean by mast? Is the tall upright structure on a boat or a ship. December 25. As we will proceed, the different events and dates will be there, and you have to remember it. So then they started from July. We have started the journey, and December 25 found an 3,500 kilometers east of Cape Town. Despite atrocious weather, atrocious means very bad. Weather was not good, and we had a wonderful holiday complete with a Christmas tree, because the Christmas time was there. So he said that we enjoyed our day despite the bad weather. So New Year's Day saw no improvement in the weather, and week passed, and new 31st December also, but weather was the same. Means strong winds were there. Waves were size of the wave was alarming, but it was okay. Things not change, but not bad also. But we reasoned that it had to change soon. And it did, but for the worse. So we were thinking that it will change, because this will not happen that winds only will blow. It changed, but it changed for the worse. Things happened, but very worsened. So at the dawn of January 2, so another event, January 2, what happened on the day of January 2? There are various questions also will arise according to the events. Okay, what happened on the day of January 2? In the short answer questions also, and in long also, it can be like what happened on January 2 and 3, what happened on, what is the mental condition of the sailor on January 4 and 5, like this the questions will be there from the examination point of view. So at dawn on January 2, the waves were gigantic. So at the dawn of uh, 2, the waves were gigantic. Gigantic means huge, of a very huge size. We were sailing with only small storm jib, and he says we were sailing with a very small storm jib and were still making 8 knots. So he says we were sailing with a small storm jib. Jib is the triangular stay sail set forward the mast in a ship. Okay, so and we're still making 8 knots. 8 knot is the unit of speed. First of all, we should know the meaning of knot. Knot is the unit of speed, equal to 1 nautical mile per hour, used specially for the ship's aircraft or winds. So as the ship rose to top of the each wave, we could see endless numerous seas rolling towards us. So he says, as we were moving forward, we observed that endless numerous sea rolling towards us, means waves were very fast, and height was alarming, and they were as if something is rolling towards us, and the screaming of the wind and spray was painful to the ear. The screaming of the wind, it was blowing very hard, so voice was there, and spray was painful to the ears. Rain started, and wind was so harsh and blowing very harsh that the water which was coming, rainwater, it was like very painful on her face or to the ear. To slow the boat down, we dropped the storm jib and lashed a heavy mooring rope in the loop across the stern. Now, what happened that he says that uh, to slow the boat down, we dropped the storm jib. We dropped the storm jib. Jib is the triangular staysail set forward or the mast of the ship. Then we double lashed everything. Lash means to hit with a lot of force. So we double lashed everything, went through our life raft drill. Life raft drill is the life saving boat, and then attached lifelines, donned oilskins, and life jackets. Attached lifelines, donned oilskins. Don means wore, put on. Oilskins are the heavy cotton cloth, like waterproof with oil, and life jackets and weighted. So they have put all the dress and everything, and they were waiting. Means they were all prepared to face the strong wind. The first indication of impending disaster came at about 6 p.m. So, first indication of impending disaster. The first indication of impending disaster. Impending disaster means something which about to happen, which we were already aware. Impending disaster came at about 6 p.m. with an ominous silence. With an ominous means something which is unpleasant, threatening silence. Okay, so he says with an ominous silence, something which was very threatening, unpleasant one. The wind dropped. Something happened. What was that? Wind dropped, and the sky immediately grew dark. Then came a growing roar, and an enormous cloud towered aft of the ship. Wind dropped, and the sky immediately grew dark, and dark clouds were there. Then came a growing roar, thundering was there, and an enormous cloud towered aft of the ship. Aft means near the stern of the ship. Aft meaning of aft is near the stern of the ship. So, with horror, I realized that it was not a cloud but a wave like no other I had ever seen. So, it was a very horrifying experience, and I realized that this is not a cloud, this is a big wave which I have never seen. And in the meantime, this wave dropped on the ship. So it appeared perfectly vertical and almost twice the height of the other waves, with a frightful breaking crest. With a frightful breaking crest. Crest means in a very great amount. It in a very great amount, and the roar increased to a thunder as the stern moved up the face of the wave, and for a moment I thought we might ride over it. So the roar increased to a thunder. There was a thundering sound when that wave dropped, and as the stern moved up to the face of the wave, for a moment I thought we might ride over it. But then a tremendous explosion shook the deck. Then, in the meantime, one explosion was there, one big noise was there, disaster was there, and it shook the deck. Shook means it vibrate. Some vibration was there, and deck means the front side floor of a ship. Everything was, it was vibrated and it destroyed. My head smashed into the wheel. He was standing. My head smashed means when shattered or violently broken into the wheel, and I was aware of flying overboard and sinking below the waves. He was actually on the wheel. Wheel means steering wheel, and he says, I was aware of flying overboard. He says, I was aware of flying overboard and sinking below the waves, and he was sinking in the waves. I accepted my approaching death. He thought that my death is near. Now everywhere water is there and I will not now be survived. I am near the death. And as I was losing consciousness, I felt quite peaceful. Means he was like unconscious and he felt that now I'm going to die. Unexpectedly, my head popped out of the water. Though um, I was down inside the wave and I was like in a drowning situation. All of a sudden, my head popped out of the water. All of a sudden, I pop means came out. All of a sudden, I came out of the water. Few meters away, wave walker was nearly capsizing. Wave walker was nearly capsizing means overturned in the water. Her mast almost horizontal. Mast which controls the wave, that was horizontal. Then a wave hurled her upright. Then a wave hurled means throw with a great force. Then a wave hurled her upright. Her mast, my lifeline jerked taut. My lifeline, the jacket which he was wearing, it was taut. Taut means stretched or pulled tightly with water. I grabbed the guardrails and sailed through the air into the wavewalker's main boom. So I hold the guardrails in the ship, slowly moving through the air into the wavewalker main boom. Boom is the pole that controls the angle and shape of the sail. So subsequent waves tossed me. I was just moving up and down into the waves. Tossed me moving up and down around the deck like a rag doll. I was like a doll moving up and down into the waves. My left ribs cracked. He was badly injured. My mouth filled with blood and broken teeth. My mouth was filled with blood and teeth were broken. Somehow I found the wheel. Somehow I found the wheel means the steering wheel to control the ship, lined up the stern for the next wave and then hung on. In the meantime, one more wave was there and hung on. Water, water everywhere. We have heard the lines also of the poem that water, water everywhere. I could feel that the ship had water below, and I dared not abandon the wheel to investigate. And he observed and realized that there will be a ship under the there will be water under the ship also. And he said, but I dare not abandon the wheel to investigate. I was not able to abandon the wheel also, because if I lose the control of the wheel to go and investigate, then here something will happen. Suddenly the front hatch was thrown up and Mary appeared. In the meantime, the front hatch was thrown open. Hatch means door. And Mary appeared. We are sinking, she screamed. The decks are smashed and we are full of water. Mary anyhow managed. He was thinking, I don't know how she managed to reach here to me. And she said that everything is smashed. We are sinking, and decks are also smashed, and we are full of water. Our ship is sinking and we are full of water. Take the wheel, I shouted, and I scrambled for the hatch. He said, you just control the wheel, and I shouted and I moved towards the door. Hatch's door. Larry and Herb. Now this was the job of Larry and Herb. The supporters were there, which he took from the Cape Town there, and they were there to help him. So Larry and Herb, they know their duty. They already started doing. They were pumping like madmen. What they were doing? They were pumping the water out from the ship. Broken timbers hung at crazy angles, and the whole starboard side bulged inwards. Clothes, crockery, charts, tins, and toys sloshed about in deep water. Broken timbers. Timbers are the wood board used in building of a ship. Okay, so broken timbers hung at crazy angles. The whole starboard is the side of the ship which is on the right side when one is facing forward. Starboard is the side of a ship which is on the right side when one is facing forward. Okay, so whole starboard side bulge inward. Bulge means swell. When something wood is in continuously in water, or it just swell. Okay, so clothes, crockery, charts, tin, these were the tin and toys sloshed about in the deep water. Slosh means move through the liquid with a splashing sound, means it was all moving up and down into the water. I half swam, half crawled into the children's cabin. So first of all, with, before that, he just worried about the children, half swam, half crawled, moved into the children's cabin. Are you all right? I asked. Yes, they answered from an upper bunk. Upper bunk is the um, like a berth. When you look into the trains also, na berth are there, the which is attached beds. So they were on the upper bunk, but my head hurts a bit, said Sue. Sue, like we when somebody asks, "Are you all right?" So Sue complained that, "Father, my head hurts a bit," pointing to a big bump above her eyes. So there was a one big bump. Bump is the swelling caused by an injury. When you hit somewhere, so some a sort of a bump is there, a swell-like portion there in your head caused by an injury. So she was complaining, "Father, see, here's one big bump above her eyes." I had no time to worry about bump head. So father said, "I'm not worried about these bump head, because if I will if I will worry about this, then we all will sink." Okay. So after finding a hammer, screws and canvas, I struggled back on deck. So first of all, he tried to find his hammer, his screws, his canvas, and then I struggled back on deck. So canvas is a sort of a thick cloth. Okay. Then with the starboard side bashed upon, we were taking water with each wave. So I struggled back on deck with the starboard side bashed open. We were taking water with each wave that broke over us. If I couldn't make some repairs, we would surely sink. So he has to repair all those uh, broken parts, so that with the canvas, so that they can at least save for some time. Somehow I managed to stretch canvas. Somehow stretch, I told, canvas is a thick cloth, and secure waterproof hatch covers across a gaping holes. And he said that I tried to gaping holes means wide open holes were there. I tried to cover it with that canvas. Some water continued to stream below, but most of it was now being deflected over the side. Some water still was coming, but most of it was not deflected over the side. Deflected means turn aside from a straight course. Some water was get aside also. It was not coming straight away. More problem arose when our hand pumps started to block up with the debris floating around the cabins, and the electric pump short circuit. Now he was trying to solve the problem here. In the meantime, the pumps which they were having, they started creating problem. And then what happened? He said that uh, our hand pumps started to block up with debris. Now, what are debris? Debris are the rubbish. Small stones are there which block the hand pump. Floating around the cabins, and the electric pump short circuited, because it was electric pump and short circuit was there. Water level rose me threateningly. The water level was increasing, and it was threatening me. I was getting very fearful that what will happen next. He also was, don't know. Back on deck, I found that our two spare hand pumps had been wrenched overboard, along with forestay sail, the jib, the dinghies, and the main anchor. So, forestay is a rope to support ship's foremast, and dinghies are the small boat for recreation with mast or sail. A type of a small boat is there. So, then I remembered we had another electric pump under the chat room floor. Then he remembered they having one more electric pump. He know that he was mentally and well prepared before moving into the ship for the journey, because he knew that these things will happen. So extra electric pumps were there. Then he remembered one was in the chat room floor. I connected it to an out pipe and was thankful to find that it worked. It was working also. The night dragged on with an endless, bitterly cold routine of pumping, steering, and working with the radio. So night was dragging. Dragging means moving. okay with, and what whole night what they were doing. It was a very cold night. They were pumping, they were handling the wheel, steering the wheel, and working with the radio. Now we were getting no replies to our mayday calls, which was not surprising in this remote corner of the world. Now we have to understand the expression mayday calls. Mayday calls are the words used to signal ships stuck in a disaster situation through radio. That means to give signal when you are stuck somewhere or when you are in the disaster situation. So the term used is mayday calls. When this mayday call is there, the people will understand that somebody is in danger. So he was trying to get the signals also, working with radio also, but he know it was little difficult because they were in the remote corner of the world. Seo head had swollen alarmingly. When he looked at Seo head, it was swollen alarmingly. It was very badly. She was injured, and her head was swollen alarmingly. So she had two enormous black eyes, and now she showed us a deep cut on her arms. So Sue was more badly injured. She was having two black eyes, swollen head swollen, and a deep cut on her arm also. When I asked why she hadn't made more of her injuries before this, uh, she replied, I don't want to worry you when you were trying to save us all. When he asked her daughter that why you have not told us before that you are badly injured. So children were so well prepared that she tried to encourage his father by saying that, Father, I didn't want to worry you. Why? Because you were busy trying to save us all. That's why I don't want to disturb you. So this was the reaction of the Sue, his daughter, who was just a 7-year-old girl. So today we will read till here only. Remaining part we will continue in the next part. Thank you.